Am I the asshole for refusing to leave the room when my husband told me to? My husband's best friend, female, got the news of her dog's cancer days ago. My husband would call her every day till yesterday when she visited. I opened the door for her, greeted her, then led her to the living room and went into the kitchen to get a glass of water after my husband asked me. I came back and didn't find them in the living room. Turns out they went into the guest room and the door was shut. I heard weeping, sobbing sounds coming from inside. I knocked, then got in and found them embracing each other, crying. I stood by the door, but my husband paused and told me to give them a moment. I gotta say, I did not feel comfortable with his request, so I remained standing. He got up and started repeatedly telling me to get out. I told him that it's my house and he can't tell me where I can and cannot go. He got angry and told me to get out and we'll talk later, but I refused. He asked what was wrong with me for not seeing how tense the situation was and for not giving them privacy. I told him that they did not need to shut the door for any reason, no matter what it was. We argued and she ended up leaving. He blew up at me afterwards, calling me unbelievable and saying I had no respect for him and his friend, who's going through a hard time and refusing to give them privacy. I told him how weird it was for them to shut the door just because they were crying. He told me that I was petty and overbearing to act like this in front of her, and stopping him from showing proper support. Now he's completely gone radio silent and is acting like I kicked her out or treated her poorly. Some context. 1. Ages of those involved are 26 female, 28 female, and 31 male. 2. She's been his best friend, sister-like, for 8+ years. 3. She tends to be very emotional and highly sensitive. 4. We don't get along because she tends to be a boundary stomper and does and says things that make me feel like I don't know my husband as much as she does. She also compares us as well. 5. Initially, I did not want her to come to the house, but my husband called her and told her to come since he didn't see her after the news was received till yesterday. So, Reddit votes not the asshole here, and I can certainly see and agree with that line of thought. I think you had a collision of boundaries here, which is a little bit weird. You had this boundary where you weren't comfortable with them being in a room together with the door shut, which has to be understandable as a dude. It just has to be. And he had this boundary of wanting privacy for them, which he has to understand is questioned just because of the sexes of the two of them, if nothing else. It made you uncomfortable. He needs to respect that. My take from the story is that there was nothing sexual or inappropriate going on there. They've been these kinds of friends for 8+ years, but that's not to say that that couldn't pivot on a dime. So who knows? But that's one of the complications of being friends with opposite sex when you're married. I'm not saying that it's wrong at all. There are plenty of people who pull it off, but it doesn't come without its complications, and it requires extra navigating. So most people just don't even try. There's also a line of thought here that says that none of that should matter, and they're friends. They obviously needed privacy, and this was completely inappropriate. So I don't feel like that is the right way to go here. It probably would have been smart to communicate some boundaries ahead of time instead of just enforcing them on the spot. People get very close to their animals, and losing an animal can be like losing a family member. So she needed her friend's support right then. Her friend just happened to be your husband, and it was awkward. So this is a complicated one, but tell me what you think, because clearly I don't have all the answers.